just a bit idea about InfoSec Train. It was established in 2016. We are one of the finest security and technology training and consulting company. Wide range of professional training programs, certification and consulting services in the IT and cybersecurity domain. High quality technical services, certification or customized training programs curated with professionals for over 15 years of combined experience in the domain. Here are our endorsements: 4+ years of services, 70+ pool of trainers, 200+ courses offering, 30,000 plus, 30K plus we can say professional train, 10+ valued partner, 150+ corporate delivery, and 20+ countries served. And here are our trusted clients. And why InfoSec Train? Certified and experienced instructors, as like they have those certificates also. So validated ones, authentic ones, I would say. Flexible modes of training, be it night or day as per the requirements. Access to the recorded sessions, so all the sessions gets recorded and you can have those access to those sessions. Post training completion support is also there. Okay, once things are done, it's not like we won't be there or we will be vanished. We'll always be there for the supported part, for supporting you all. And tailor-made training as in if you have any custom requirements, we deliver that as well. Perfect. Now let's talk about incident handling. Okay, see, since a couple of you guys are also new over here, in cybersecurity, when we talk about, okay, we have lots of things, right? In cybersecurity, a lot of things. It's basically like a digital security, which is there in order to protect our data, right? So in cybersecurity, we have, this defensive side. And we have offensive side, as I mentioned, and we have defensive side. Offensive side would be those who are performing hacks or those who are performing attacks, right? So that will be offensive side, attacking area. But when we talk about the defensive side, we have lots of teams or departments over there. Okay, you guys might have heard about such things: red team and blue team. Heard about it? And you can use the chat option, guys. Okay, perfect. Red team is for the offensive side, right? Ganesh, exactly. there is combination of them. Offensive, and this is defensive, guys. Okay, blue team part. So they are to defend it, right? Just like in football, we have some strikers or attackers position. So for that is like a red team or offensive team. And then we have a defenders, center backward, right backward, those ones. So those are a defensive team. Okay, those will be there to save. Correct, exactly. And then combination of them is purple team, that is different. Like it's a combination of both. Okay, we are not jumping into that. So the point is, in defensive we have this terminologies that we have incident response team over there. Okay, Daresh also mentioned, heard about SOC. Yes, part of it you can say, right? Part of that business unit. For those who don't know what is a SOC, SOC is Security Operations Center. It's a business unit in the organization which helps you to monitor, identify, to monitor, to detect, to respond to any malicious activities which are happening. Okay, so some organization put incident response as a part of your SOC, Security Operations Center, or they also put incident response as a separate department. Clear? This point clear, everyone? Perfect. Now the point is, when we're talking about incident response, okay, the first thing first is, what is an incident? What is an incident? So many people, what do? They uh, use event word also over there. Okay, so what happens now? If I have to ask you, what do you think is the difference between an event and an incident? Because many people, they define event as an incident also, right? Now, moving on, see, whenever incident happens, obviously in the organization we have someone to respond against it, right? So for example, what happens, like in case anything happens in your home, right? Then we have cops to take care of it, correct? We call the cops and they reach out to your home. Like let's suppose if there is any robbery, we call the cops, they reach out to your home and they take care of it, right? They try to find the attackers also, or like those thieves. They try to see what happens. They'll be helping you out also, right? And like They'll be basically the ones those will be responding to those things. Similarly, we have incident response team in the organization also, that in case if there is any incident occurs in the organization, we have a team for that which will be taking care of it, right? So for that we have incident response team in the organization. Clear? See, before we talk about that, a couple of things more. Next thing, let's suppose we are talking about what is a threat now. Threat can come in various forms and can be intentional or accidental. Understanding and mitigating these threats is crucial for protecting sensitive information, ensuring business continuity, and safeguarding the integrity of the computer systems and network. Right. So, simple way, if I have to define it, threat is a danger, in short, right? So, when you talk about threats, these are something which will be, will like a danger to your assets, to your data, to your organization, which will be disrupting the services or costing them, in short, in somehow, which will be, disrupting the business continuity over there, right? Which will be trying to steal your sensitive informations, right? So somehow, in short, costing the business, right? So when we talk about threat in that sense, for these things only we do have a incident response thing, or we have an incident response team to handle these kind of threats only, right? Threats can occur in various places, right? It can occur in your network, it can occur in your host as in your computer, laptops, it can occur in your web applications also, right? So these things are there. Like if you guys have heard about, uh, you know, these attacks which can be performed in multiple places, right? Web application attacks, you guys have heard about SQL injection, cross-site scripting, heard about these things, breaking the authentication, which we just talked about. These are there. You guys might have heard about man in the middle attacks also, correct? Gathering information about the target. These are also there. Okay. So when we talk about threats, these things are done. Okay. These threats are your like your undesired event that will be attempting to get the access or to exfiltrate the data, right? Or to manipulate your data or to damage your confidentiality, integrity, and availability, you can say, of an organization's resources. Okay, so in simple manner, which we have the CIA triad, which are the three core elements of information security. When these have a chances of getting, impacted, those are your threats which will do it, right? So these threats basically, it is like very hazardous, you can say, hazardous to assets of the organizations over there. Okay, so be it your systems, be it your network, be it human resources also. So these threats are done by a threat actors. When we say threat actor, or we also call them malicious actor, they are the person or any kind of an entity which are the ones which are responsible for those harmful incidents or which has a potential to impact the security of your organization. Just like you guys have mentioned, the hackers, correct? So they are also known as your threat actors. Okay, so threat actors could be anything. It could be a person, it could be an organization which has those intentions to do or perform these incidents, or to to have some malicious benefit, you can say, like they'll be just passing on the malicious software and trying to get some benefit out of it, like maybe, like for example, ransomware, for example. So the ransomware will do what? It will be encrypting all your devices, files, and folders, and in return they'll be asking for some money, right? Correct. So these threat actors are there. So because of these these hackers, these threat actors are of different types. We have script kiddies, we have black hat, we like organized hackers, we have hacktivists, we have state sponsored, we have also insider threat as well. Okay, so see, when I have said this definition, threats can come in various forms and can be intentional or accidental also, right? So for example, while you're working, if by mistakenly, if you deleted a very important file, can we say it is accidental now? But it was a threat only, right? Sorry, internal external threats are there. That is two things. Internal is from within the company, external which is not part of the organization. But what I'm trying to say is threats, they can be intentional or accidental also. Intentional is like you're deliberately doing it. You know about those things. Accidental would be by mistake you deleted a file, which is very important, or by mistake you deleted a server. Make sense? Correct? So that will be accidental. So why I'm telling you this is because they are also related to your internal threats. We have internal threat actors, right? Internal threat actors. So internal threat actors, or you can say internal threats. Another word is internal threats. These are the people, those who are like a disgruntled employee, those who are not happy with the organization, or those who try to take any revenge. So they can be also like, intentional, and it can be accidental also. That's why I give an example, like by mistake if you deleted a server. So that will be like an accidental threat. Make sense? But it is costing the organization somehow, right? Although it was insider only, but it was a threat in short. So exactly, we have threat actors which perform those threats to our organization, and we have to be aware about those things. So that's why, as I mentioned, we have different type of threat actors also. We have you know uh, cyber terrorists, we have suicide hackers, we have hacktivists, we have state sponsored, we have insider threat, we have organized hackers, we have script kiddies. These many different types of them are there. We're not going to talk about them much right now, but yeah, just to give you an idea about it. Okay. So when you talk about threat actors, they do perform these, they use these threats. So there are some certain type of threats also. So threats in the realm of cybersecurity can be categorized into various types based on their characteristics, targets, and methods of execution. Some of the common type of threats are ransomware, virus, Trojan, worms, and many more there. For example, ransomware, as I just told you about it, what happens in the ransomware is that it will be encrypting all your files and folders in your system. So when I say encrypting, for those who don't know what is encrypting over here is, it's like a lock will be there. So let's suppose you have this file, file A. So this file will be locked. Okay. In order to unlock this file, you will be requiring a key, like a digital key, we call it. But I'm just getting a key over here. Okay. You'll be requiring a key over here for to unlock this file, and that key is with the attacker. So what happens now, you won't be able to access these files till the time you have those keys. So now you have to pay some ransom, or you have to pay some amount in terms of bitcoins to the attackers, and then they pass on this key to you, and then you will be able to access these files. Make sense? So a lot of ransomware attack has been happened. The very famous, recently also many has happened, like into the medical companies. It has happened a lot. But just to give you an idea, for me personally, what I think so is that ransomware, like very this WannaCry, it was in 2016, very huge it was. If you guys have heard about it, right? WannaCry, Microsoft vulnerability, it got exploited. Uh, Eternal Blue was the name which was used. It was very famous across the world. Okay, so even the patch was available, but companies that didn't, or like many people didn't apply it, which costed them actually. But yeah, this is there. Okay, we have virus also. You know, Pooja Lucky ransomware. Yes, correct. I might be having a paper for that. Anyway, uh, virus and worms. This is very basic terminology which you might have already heard about it. Virus, when you talk about, it's quite an old malware, we can say. Back it has a huge amount of history, I would say. Vital information resources under seas. Okay, vital information resources under seas. The point is, you might have heard this thing, like, whenever our system is responding a bit slow. So that's why your resources, they have been seized actually. That is the reason. That is the full form. Vital information resources under seas. Okay. Okay. Virus and worm. Great. So for such things only, for such things, what do we have? We have incident response team to react on these things, right? To capture and to stop such kind of an attack in our network, in our system, so that they won't spread. Because if they spread, what will happen? It will be costing our organization only. Our services will be disrupted. So the point is, for that we have incident response team, which follows some incident response procedure, right? Here, these are the phases, you can say, or the steps of an incident response, guys. Okay, we have preparation, we have identification, containment, eradication, recovery, and lesson learned, we can say. Okay. uh, you will see a lot of images, a lot of phases to go through for incident response. NIST has separate, uh, organization follows separately also, but everything boils down to such things only. They have the same process only, right? So when you talk about in these phases of incident response, okay, it's like incident handling and response phases, to be more precise. We have these certain phases. The very first one is preparation. Okay, the very first one is the preparation. Have you seen, like, you guys might have seen, and a football, right? Everyone knows what is a football, correct? In other countries you might say soccer sometimes. In football, what happens? There is this word playbook is used over there as well. So managers, they do what? They refer these playbooks also, so that in case when they points out that another opposite team is performing an attack, right? So let's suppose we have a team. Guys, kindly mute yourself. Thank you. So we have B team. Okay, two clubs are there playing a football match. So when B team is performing an attack, they have a counter attack they are performing over here. They have the ball and they're trying to score the goal. So what you need to do are defined in the playbooks also. So they refer the playbooks to learn those strategies or tactics, right? Those procedures, those guidelines are written over here. Correct? So that what they need to do in order to stop this attack. That is in playbook. So similarly, in incident response, when we talk about from organization's perspective, our cyber world perspective, okay. So playbook is, you can say, those documented sets of procedures and guidelines are there, which will be outlining how an organization should detect or they should respond to and recover from any security incident. Okay. So those step-by-step guides when we're talking about, right? When we talk about in terms of that help incident responders to uh, efficiently and more effectively to respond over there. Okay. Um, when we talk about like your roles and responsibilities, your detection, your triage, those communication plan, evidence preservation, these kind of a lot of things are mentioned when we talk about in terms of playbook. Okay. Um, Ganesh, okay, I would say like moreover for the run book, it's more like associated with the IT operations and system administration tasks also. So like what is the, like, basically it will be including like routine procedures, operational tasks which are related to managing or maintaining the IT services. So any system deployment, configuration changes, software upgrades, troubleshooting in that way. Generally they are interchangeably used. That too, I agree with that. Sometimes, yes, but moreover, when I would say when you talk about in terms of incident response, we prefer to use playbook in terms of any incident has occurred and how to handle that. We'll be following a playbook over there. Okay, so runbook specific task might be there. Okay, but in playbook, it's more of a bigger, like a manual sort of a thing. Okay, so overall strategies for any processes, any different scenarios, any decision points, like a big picture view. It will be like your playbook. Okay. Okay. So for example, in simple manner, I would say playbook would be okay. Let's suppose if you have a restaurant, so your entire details about your entire opening procedure. So it will be including steps like prepping for the ingredients, setting up tables, assigning the roles and responsibilities to the staff members, outlining things like what to do in case of any unexpected situations happens. Okay, like for example, if your oven breaks, or if it's crashed and it's not working, or if there's a sudden rush of customers, how to handle that. Whereas when we talk about run book, okay, uh, run book will be there for specifically for making like for example for for your signature Caesar salad. Okay, so it will be listing out each ingredient or whatever the quantity will be required, and the exact steps also involved in preparing and testing that salad. So when we talk about that specific task, run book, otherwise playbook will be the entire overall guide for that. In other words, if you have to relate with it. I hope that makes sense now. So we're identifying anything if that has occurred. So detection analysis, somewhere you find detection analysis, somewhere you find identification. We're trying to identify uh, you know whether something has happened or not. Okay. um, Here a lot of things can be part of identification, I would say. you know um, when I say many things, for example, what I meant to say over here is you can basically uh, you do the first you do the incident recording and assignment. Okay, you assign the record incident to someone. Some you will be cross checking, you'll be identifying whether it is really incident or not, because it can be a false positive scenario also, right? So when I said false positive, it means like you got to your basically your tool said that like SIM solution said there is an attack going on. Okay, your alert said that there is an attack going on, but in reality, when we checked, there was no attack, right? So that will be like purely a waste of time. That was a false alarm. So your smoke detector said that okay, there is a fire going on, but when we checked it in reality, there was no fire. That is a false alarm, right? So that is a false positive. So we try to identify that thing also. Make sense now? We try to identify whether it is a false positive or not. Because what is the point after that? If it's a false positive, we won't be assigning a team for that. But in case if it's a true positive, as in it's really an incident, an attack is going on, then as per that, we'll be assigning the team over there. So once we confirm, okay, it is really an incident, what we do, we do the triage. Incident triage, we call it. Do you know what is incident triage, anyone? There's a word, incident triage. Initial analysis, okay, categorizing, nice. In incident triage, isolation will be in containment later. Prioritizing, nice. See, when we talk about in incident triage, always remember that three words. You can say validation, your classification of incident, what kind of incident it is. First we validate whether it is an incident or not. Then we classified what kind of incident it is, and then we prioritize it also. So validation, classification, as well as a prioritization are part of your incident triage. I hope that makes sense now in incident triage. Then we go for the containment. See, before this, I would also put one more point, which just for your reference, I would also put notification along with that. In this section, I will also put before this, like with containment, actually, it side by side, simultaneously, it goes with the notification. When I say notification, it's like reporting to your stakeholders, or you can say a senior management, in other words, and other stakeholders also. Because see, one thing is there. Uh, without their approval, you cannot do anything in organization. Those are already working, they already know about it, right? For example, if you take a simple example in your home, in your houses, uh, earlier back in the days, like, were you able to do anything without your parents' permission? If you want to make any changes in your house, in your home, you take like you take your parents' permission, right? Or you used to take your parents' permission, isn't it? Then you make some changes over there. Agree? Or anything. Just giving an example, simple example. You can relate it with anything. So ethically, exactly. So they are like consider them like a senior management only. So in organization, actually, guys, without their approval, you cannot do anything in organization. So their approval is also required side by side. So you notify them as well. The notification is quite important. You can also say it is part of your communication plan. You have to be, the transparency should be there. Things need to be conveyed to the senior management. They should be aware about such things, and without their approval, you cannot do anything. And as I mentioned, simultaneously also you'll go with the containment part. So containment is like an isolation. For example, COVID time, if I talk about coronavirus time, you might have seen that whenever a person was infected with any coronavirus, what do? We put them into an isolation ward, correct? Stop spreading, reducing the impact, quarantine, yes. Akash, okay, correct. With isolation from the network, that is correct. So we put those devices into an isolation zone or isolation ward so that that virus won't spread furthermore. Exactly, right? And it will not impact other people. Same way, if any system got infected by any kind of a malware, for example, we put that system into a containment area so that that's malware will not spread out. So for example, one, two, three systems are there in the same network. If second system got infected with the malware, what we will do, we'll take it out from the network and put it into an, like, separately isolating it. Now one and three will be there, which will be continuing their business process, right? This will be in a containment area, and we'll put into like a sandbox environment also. So containment is done. Okay. After that, your eradication is also there, right? In eradication, as I mentioned, you try to remove it. Okay. You try to eradicate the existence of such things, right? Clear. So after this, you can see a arrow is there. Arrow is made after recovery. So basically, after recovery, we try to monitor that system. You can say that infected thing for a couple of like times. We try to monitor it for a time period. Why do we monitor it? So that we can see if there is any re-existence of the same thing. Because if there is any re-existence of the same thing, if same that system is behaving abnormally as it was doing beforehand. So like before when there was a malware. So we try to go through the same procedure again. Then we go for the containment, eradication, recovery. And the final one is basically a lesson learned. Lesson learned means what you have learned out of this entire thing. Okay, it's like a post-incident activity. Here, post-incident activity. So whatever you have done, everything will be documented. Okay, everything will be documented. Your incident documentation will be done. Your incident impact assessment will be done. Okay, your exactly you will be reviewing. Okay, reviewing and revising the policies also. So we try to take those decisions like, okay, do we need to make any changes in the policies? Do we need to implement any new uh, you know uh, security controls, right? So here we do those things. Post incident activity, when we talk about once your things has been eradicated, the incident, okay, your incident is handling and response team, they need to perform certain activities to improve the response against their against the future attacks. So uh, those things or those activities will be helping in evaluating and improving the how effective is the incident response process. So in post incident activity, it will help the responders to fix those lags in our security posture. Okay, if there's any gap in our settings, in our configurations, across the organization, we try to fix those things. We try to determine what all weaknesses are there, right? So with the help of this, what we do, we try, it gives us some good suggested measures are given, um, which will be helping us to harden the security. correct? So we sit around, we do a meeting, you can say, we try to see what went wrong, how it went wrong, what we did, how much impact assessment is, and how much impact we have faced. If there is any changes required, we go for that, we implement it, so that we have to make sure that, okay, in the future we won't be getting attacked with the same things, right? And we will be able to handle such similar things also in future. So that preparedness is done. Along with that, when you talk about these things, like in lesson learned, we also make a disclosure to the, you can say, stakeholders, right? Clear with this, everyone? Now see, in incident response, we use, it's a combination of multiple teams, okay, and multiple tools will be used over there. And here we will be discussing a bit about, I'll be giving a bit of idea about the Wireshark part, okay, um, which can be also helpful in terms of doing the network traffic analysis. When you talk about a Wireshark, so as I mentioned, see, Wireshark is used, basically it's like a packet capturing utility which will be helping you to uh, analyze your network traffic, right? It can be used by your security team to analyze what kind of a network traffic is being generated, right? What kind of a traffic is being flown over there. So it's like, obviously it's an open source packet analyzer, you can get it also. So it's helpful in terms of, you can say, network troubleshooting for analysis, uh, in that way. So it captures the network traffic, okay. You can say it's like a microscope for your network, okay. It can listen to the network connection and it can capture all the data flowing through it in form of packets, okay, and analyzes those captured data. So once the Wireshark captures the packet, it will be dissecting them and present the information in a user-friendly way, so that you can see the details like source and destination IP address, the protocols which has been used, right? Um and even if any actual content or any data is being transferred, depending on what kind of a protocol is being used. For example, HTTP. So we can see those things also, right? So it is that kind of a thing. So you know let's see, this is a Wireshark. Basically, this is a Wireshark, how it looks like. We have over here, when we talk about Wireshark, this is this upper part where these, you can see, these lot of network packets are generated. This is known as a top pane. This section, this specific portion, this is known as a middle pane. So the comment which you see just right now, from Ram has mentioned, from layer 7 to layer 1 captured the inflow and outflow of the data, right? Those things, those things are represented over here. See, frames, Ethernet connections, IPv4 network layer, and user datagram protocol, transport layer, and all those things. So the sessions, your um, presentation layers, your application layer, the data below. If you scroll down, you will find those things also. So basically, these things are represented over here. Okay, so your OSI layer in that 7-layer format, the dissection is mentioned over here, and this is your bottom pane. Actually, this is known as a bottom pane, the last pane out of those three. So we have top, middle, and your bottom pane. Okay, so in bottom pane you see the data. Okay, binary in those hex format. Okay, so let me do one thing. We'll also open this one, Wireshark side by side, to give a live idea also. Okay, so it supports multiple protocols, by the way, this Wireshark, and it has lots of options. It itself, it's a huge tool, by the way, just to let you know. Okay, it itself is a huge tool, right? So this bottom pane is there, which will be providing a detailed view of the raw data bytes. Okay, so hexadecimal and ASCII format, you'll be seeing these two format over here in the bottom pane. Middle pane, as I told you, this is also your detailed pane. Okay, this give you a deeper into the details of whatever the packet you have selected. So for example, on this picture, this packet is selected right now. So on the selected packet, the details will be given over here in this middle pane. Okay, so it is also known as a packet details pane, in other words. Okay, And then we have this top pin, which is packet list pin. So here you see the packet which has been generated, their time, the number, source and destination, the protocols, the length, the information, and so on. So whatever you select in respect to that selected packet, you'll be getting details on this middle pane, as well as in the ASCII and hexadecimal format. Those details will be showed in your bottom pane also for the selected packet. Perfect. Now see, collection methods are there. Okay. A lot of protocols are being displayed over here, like ARP is being displayed. So let me do one thing. Let me just give me a minute to open my, this machine so that we can see such things actively. So for this, I'll be opening my VMware, where I have a Kali and another vulnerable machine also, so where we can look out for the traffic also to get an understanding about the Wireshark. So when you actually switch from Mac to Windows, you forget the keys sometimes to zoom in. So anyway, what I will do, I'll open two instances. One instance will be for Wireshark. You can also download this for a Windows Wireshark, okay? Separately. I just have it over here, so I'm opening it to show you how things looks like. This is your Wireshark by the way. And here are your interfaces which it captures the traffic for. Okay. So for example, I'll go with the Ethernet ones. And you will see the packets will be generated over here soon. Okay. Now, meanwhile, if I go to this another terminal, from here I will try to perform some scanning onto this machine. Okay. One 128. Even like for example, if I do nmap scans, you know, 133.0./24, trying to determine what is the IP of the other machine. If we try to do that, here also we got to know, okay, the IP of the other machine is 128. See, in the same network since we were there, 133.128. Anyway, the point is, CS that is directory. You can ignore that point right now. We're focusing on Wireshark. It's just the folder name in which current folder I am. I'm in Kali folder, which is inside home folder in that manner. Now see in the Wireshark guys, can you see ARP traffic being generated over here? It has been captured. So in Nmap, when I was trying to find out what all the IPs are there in the same network, actually what it does, it goes with the ARP protocol in the background, isn't it? ARP protocol, correct? Makes sense? If you try to perform any scanning also, let me show you that. Since I know the target IP, if I go with 128 and perform -st over here, see, scanning is being done. SYNAC requests will also be there, and the reset ACK is there. Can you see this? If I perform any other scanning, see, in the background, what happened? We got to know what all ports are open. There's services also. But in the background, what is happening? This is how network is being displayed. The network traffic analysis is being done. If I perform -ss, see, another way of performing scanning. Here also you get a lot of reset flags, SYN flags, SYNAC flags. See, reset are your generally red ones. Reset or reset ACK. So Wireshark is such a beauty that in case if in Wireshark, if I try to see such things, for example, if I go for analysis, okay, export information, right? Can you see a warning is there, guys? Warning being displayed. What does that warning says? Connection reset a lot of times. So when I'm seeing such things, can I say it will be giving me an idea that okay, someone is trying to do some malicious activity against me? Can we say that? When I'm saying reset, a lot of reset requests, can I say someone is trying to perform a scan against my system? Scan means trying to determine what all ports are open so that attacker can perform an attack later on to that. See, I put it up as a filter tcp.connection.reset. Now, interestingly, when we think from a defensive point of view, defender's point of view, if you see lots of reset flags are there, and interestingly, that is happening between only two IPs, 128 and 129, right? Either of them can be your local machine's IP, that is fine. But when you're getting so much of an interaction between two IPs only, that is something fishy, correct? That means someone is trying to perform something against you. I'm trying to, connect the points over here so that you guys can, get an idea, right? And you can see the packet, this packet is selected. Regarding this packet, you can see the details are over here. See, interface ID is Ethernet type, like physical layer work. Yeah, then you can say Ethernet, your data link layer. Correct? Can you see the MAC addresses over here? Data link layer deals with what? Your MAC addresses only. Correct? Then IP base and everything. Now, see, here what do we also have is we have some display filters. This is where you put some display filter. This is what it is. Okay, so dissection we have already seen, like, okay, these are the details which you can find out in any network. Here is a display filter. When we talk about display filter, here in this section you can put some display filters that too are dependent on some operators and everything. So for example, let's try to see something. If there's any website, you guys might have heard about, we say that okay, HTTP is not secure, HTTPS is secure, correct? Heard about that? Why? Because in HTTP things goes in a plain text format, right? HTTPS provides the encryption. So right now this is HTTP, correct? HTTP. If I click on login, don't save, go to Wireshark. How this display filter can work is the beauty of it. HTTP, if I write, now I will get only the HTTP based traffic over here. Can you see this? Along with this HTTP, something interesting is also there. You can see sometimes get is written, sometimes post is also written. Do you know the difference between these two? Get and post. Post is post form, request is yes, correct. Get would be more like requesting something from the server, correct? Post is when you're submitting any form based things, when you're updating something on the server. So right now when we hit the login button, it goes in a certain type of a request method of HTTP. Which method will it be? Get or post? When you submit the login details. Think about it. I hit the login button. I'm sending some data to the server, right? So when I'm sending some data to the server, it will be going in post. Make sense? Yes. So now if we check this, if I click over here, this is the post method. We are going for the more dissections of it. IPv4, fine, we can see those IPs, everything is displayed over here, total length of the packets, nice, okay. Flags are also there, do not fragments, okay, perfect. Time to live 64, TTL values there. Transmission protocol, source port, destination port, TCP is being used. Okay, flags. Nice. Over here, HTTP based. In the application part, when you see, can you see guys, the form and the password and the user ID are being displayed in the clear text format? Make sense now? Why HTTP is known as your insecure one as compared to HTTPS? Because your data can be seen. Correct? And one more thing, if I right click over here, if I click on follow HTTP stream, so whatever the conversation has been happened between the client and the server, you can see those things over here. Red ones are between the from the client, blue are from the server which you are getting response. Can you see this? Packets 3 from client, 3 from server. So somewhere over here also your password would be mentioned. See, pages coding are displayed over here. Clear with this? So you can use different type of display filters. See, right now I use just HTTP. If you practice more with the Wireshark, you can get a more better idea. For example, I can directly write http.request.method equals to I will write simply post over here, and I'll be able to see only the post based traffic. Sure, exactly. Yeah, I agree with that. But it is just like for those who are not using it. But why you should also not interact with those things. From attackers' point of view, we talk about they develop those kind of a website also, right? So what if I bought any other web domain which might be HTTP based, but it looks like an Amazon based, look like an Amazon website. So try to making people fall for the trap. So when they are entering their credentials, they'll think, okay, it's an Amazon website, but it's actually a fake website which looks like an Amazon website, but it is HTTP based. So as soon as you enter the password, your details, those things are captured. Awesome. So these are the methods. Okay. So it can be used for multiple purpose, but this is just to relate with you guys, so how you can utilize it to show you that. You can also see anything which has been downloaded from the server. So for example, just give me a second, let me see if that file is with me or not. So over here you need to learn about the display filters. Okay, a lot of ways are there to write it. A lot of operators are used, like double equals to, and or gates need to be used, contains are there, so you should be familiar with those things as well. It's quite good tool when we talk about Wireshark. Okay, so for example, see this thing. Different protocols are being used. You can do their dissections also. Pushback. Okay, TCP protocols. SYNAC is there, like three-way handshake is being done. Right. Get something from this file. Interesting. So if I go for this one, follow HTTP stream. Can you see? A file name with a sped10.spr is being downloaded over here. That's a malicious file, by the way. Thanks, Pooja. Thank you. Yeah. So see, HTTP 200, okay, as in successful has been done. It's just HTTP status code. HTTP has certain status code, 100, 200, 300. Like for example, have you seen 404? 404 HTTP. Like when you're trying to open any page, 404 is written over there. What does that mean? Page not found. Correct? That means wrong page you have entered. Error. That is also HTTP status code. So similarly, we have 100 series, 200, 300, 400, and 500. 100 is informative. 200 means successfully you have done something. Like for example, if you're doing any transaction or downloading something, it was successful. Or you're trying to open a page, it was login successful. 300 means redirection. Like you might have also seen such messages that this website has been shifted to somewhere else. Redirection is being done. Client side error. 500 is server side error. Here you can see 200 is there. Server Apache. A file name is being transferred. See, content description, file transfer. Sped10.spr. Dropping a hint, if you do some research on such things, you will get to know this is a malicious file. Okay, so this is how your Wireshark can be used. So anyway, this is just to give an idea how Wireshark can be used. Yes, that is something I'll just leave it to you as of now, just out of to give your curiosity right now to understand such things, why I might have put that. Yes, some signatures, some, as I mentioned, bytes, their datas, we are looking into that, and we can say that that might be malicious by looking into something. So for that, I'll keep it as a, we can take a screenshot on this one and think why it might be. You can do some research because I'm just telling you this is what something which is related to that, a file which was there. We put it out into, you can say, some tools, try to see whether it is malicious or not, and we got to know it is malicious. So in that way. Okay. It was something related to Drydex infection actually. All right. So anyway, that would be it for the day till this point with the Wireshark part and how you can look out for things, how you can inspect for things, how do you display filters. It's many more things are there. Okay, if you want some good cheat sheet, some more practice, some good things regarding Wireshark, let me know. You can always contact me in my LinkedIn, and if you want such things to learn more into such tools and getting information about them, feel free to let me know, and I will pass on those things to you. Okay.